Hello everyone, it's Amy and welcome back for week 41 of the new Build Your Stash and Craft. Today we are going to make ephemera holders and we are going to need 3 file folders. Well, you can make as many as you want. I'm going to show you how to make 3 different sizes and they're quick and easy and they're just a nice way to keep your little bits corralled. So this is basically what we're going to make. So this is one that I made at a different time. And then they just open up with pockets. And like I said, they're very quick and easy, but they're nice to just place on a shelf. Now, I always fold mine this way so that I just can open them right up and they're there. If you want, you can make them so that they fold this way. You will make your inside, you'll make this fold a little bit shorter, or this page on each side a little shorter, so that it will fold nicely this way. I don't know why I don't do that. I prefer to have it where I can just open it up like this and it's right there. But you can do it either way. But I'm going to show you how to make that size plus 2 other sizes. So that way they'll hold all of your different types of bits easily. And so we are going to need 3 file folders from the Dollar Tree. And I've already made some, so I don't actually have 8 still in there. And then we're going to probably decorate one. And we'll kind of go over in a little bit while I'm decorating it why I have been missing. So what we're going to start out with, grab my scissors. I like to take off this extra bit here. And so that's totally up to you whether you want to do that. Now, let me see here. I have to kind of refresh my memory a little bit. So yes, for that one, we go ahead and I just take it off right here where this bit is. And I am just going to draw a line on it and then cut it with my scissors. And if I have a pen to draw a line with. And I may be using a few different items because I may not have everything out here. So I am just going to draw a line. Since I'm cutting it, it doesn't matter. I can see that light part. And then I'm just going to cut that off so that we have just nice straight edges. And you don't have to do that, but it is something that you can do. It's what I like to do. Now, the thing is that you can use these bits as tabs for something that you've made and you want to put a tab on it. So you don't necessarily have to throw these away because they do make nice tabs for something else. And they're basically already done for you. You don't need to round the corners or anything because that is all done. So I'm going to set those aside. And then you're just going to, and I don't really measure, get some of the stuff out of my way. I don't really measure, I just fold it up. So let's see, for this one here, I would have folded it right about there. And I'll tell you what that measurement is in just 1 second. And so this is the medium size holder. And it holds nicely things like tags and that type of thing that are, you know, a little bit taller. We'll do one for the shorter stuff and then we'll do one for our like borders because the borders are, and again, if you want to make it so it folds inward, at this point you would just take it and fold it in like this. And we'll do that this time. We'll make this one fold inwards. So I am folding it. Here's my fold and here is my edge. There's probably about 1/8 of an inch there. And then I'll just make sure that when I go to shut it, it will shut, and it does. So then I'll press that down. And you can use, if you don't have a bone folder, which we don't have one in the series yet, you can use the edge of your scissors. You can use the edge of a pen. You can use anything to press that down. So then we're going to just take the other side and we're going to fold it in I'm going to take that one out of my way so I can see. And I'm going to fold that in approximately the same with about 1/8 of an inch left over. Just like that. Give that one a good press. Okay, so now we have our ephemera folder, so when we open it up, we have got our pockets. Now, because this pocket is quite tall, I folded it back about 1 inch. Oh wait, I was gonna tell you what that measurement was, because that's the full length of a folder. And so folded it up 3 3/4 inches. And then I'm just going to fold it down about 1 inch. Maybe we'll do it about maybe 3/4 of an inch approximately. And what I'm doing here is, because I've got the fold in there, I am lining up that fold as I fold it. And that way I know that that fold is going to be where the other fold is, and it should help me. If I keep that line straight, it should help me make this straight all the way across also. And then check your end to make sure that that's lining up nicely. And you don't have to have this. It gives you a little extra thickness, but being that you are using a file folder, you don't necessarily need that extra thickness because the file folder is nice and thick all on its own. And that does put a little extra bulk in it. So there we go. That is our first folder. It has 4 pockets. Now doing it this way, excuse me, if you wanted to, you could cut another piece of file folder and put it here and here, and you would have 2 more pockets. So it depends on how much, you know, this is, how do I want to say that? This is a thin folder. It doesn't have an extended spine. So the more pockets you put in there, the harder it is going to be to close, which is why I usually do 4 pockets. Because that way, even though when it starts getting built up, it still folds up fairly nicely. Now, I don't normally tie these shut. And especially since the way that I have this one done, if I were to put a tie on this side and this side and tie it together, this side would still just be open. But I just find that when I sit them on my shelf like this, you know, they're in there with everything else, they don't come open or anything. And I like it to where I can just pull it off the shelf and open it up. I don't have to untie it. I don't have to, you know, those ties are not going to be in my way. So that is why I do not like ties on them. But if you want to keep it shut, let's say you're just going to leave it on your desk like this and you don't want it to be kind of open like that, you can tie a piece all the way around it so that when you untie it, it just comes off and it's not in your way. And it will hold both sides shut if you're doing it this way. Also, you could just put a hair tie around it if you have one that's big enough, or a rubber band, and that will hold it shut. But like I said, I just like to leave mine like this so I don't have to deal with any of that. If I take the rubber band off, then I lose it, you know. So, and you could do the same thing here. Now, this one you could tie shut without this becoming open, but if you put a hole here and here to put a tie on it, what's going to happen is when you want to open it, that ribbon, that hole where you put your ribbon in to attach a tie, it's going to hold your folder shut. So you're still going to want to just do something that goes all the way around. So there's our medium size one. Now for our small one, we are just going to, here is my small one. So this one is about 5.5 inches when it's completed. This one is 7 3/4 inches when it's completed. So what I'm going to do is, because we need the size of our folder, plus we need this extra bit here. So we'll measure that. That is 7.5 inches. So I am going to cut it at 7.5 inches. The first thing I'm going to do is hold my ruler up against the straight edge to try and make sure that's a straight line. And get rid of this extra bit. And again, you can keep them for different things. Just gonna cut along there. And then we're gonna cut it at 7.5 inches. So for 7.5 inches, I am just going to, and is that how much it was again? Let me just double check. It's always best to double check. And of course, these are not perfect sizes. You can make them any size you want. So yeah, 7.5 inches. So we're just going to come down here to make a mark at 7.5. And you'll hear this all the time. Whenever I'm going to draw a straight line, I always try and put 3 marks, because that way if one of them is off, if I accidentally did it at 7 1/4 or 7 3/4, when I went to put my ruler on there to draw my line, that would be off. And I would know that that was not a straight line. If you did only like 1/4 of an inch difference and you didn't have your center one, and you put it on there like that, you may not notice that that's not straight until you went to start doing some folding, or, you know, until you looked at it after it was cut and went, that's not straight. So there we go. That's where we're going to cut it at 7.5. Now we're going to keep this piece because we need that for later. We need that for our third one. So there we go. We'll set that one aside. Now with this one, I made my pocket at 2 inches, but I want to fold it down about 1/4 of an inch. So first things first, we'll just do it on this one. So we're going to fold this up approximately 2 inches. That's about 2 inches right there. And then if you just make sure that you line this side up, that should make your fold straight. Make sure you line your fold up. And then your other side. There we go. And since we did the first one folded in, we'll do all of these folded in. Maybe I'll decide later that I like it better. And the thing is, it really doesn't matter which way you fold it, whether you fold it in or fold it out. If I decide, see, this one's folded in. If I decide I don't like it that way, all I have to do is just press that center fold like that. You're going to have a little gap because we folded these a little shorter, but it still will be just like the other one that I do like. So if I decide I don't like this, I just have to do this and I'm good. Maybe have to do a little different decorating on it. So we're going to fold that one in, and we're going to fold this one in. Just like that. And on this one, I did not quite cut it over to cut. I didn't put it all the way over here to cut off that little gap. That's all right. So there we go. That actually should probably make this one a touch wider than this one. Nope, it doesn't. So maybe I left that. I didn't. Okay. So there we go. Now there's that one. And again, we're going to fold this down a little bit. About 1/2 inch or so. Because this one I use to put in my stamps, my inchies, and that type of thing. So I like a really short pocket on this small one. Oops, I just ripped my file folder, but that's all right. I can put a piece of tape on there later. And again, things don't have to be perfect, especially when you're doing storage. Storage doesn't have to be perfect. Excuse me. It just has to work. You just want it to be good storage. So there we go. There is that one. So that one is made now. And then our last one is for our belly bands, or not belly bands, but you could put belly bands in here. The last one is going to be for our border strips and belly bands too, anything that's tall. because, you know, when you have something that's tall, you want to have something to store it in that will keep it straight for you so it doesn't get all messed up. And that's why I decided to make these this week, because if you make a bunch of your borders from last week, you know, this is a nice place for you to keep them without them getting all messed up. So now the thing is, because our borders are nice and tall, this is 11 3/4 inches tall. So, but I don't want to fold this up, because if we have an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, that means some of our borders could be 11 inches. Some of them might only be 8.5. But I want to make sure that this is at least 11 inches. So that's what we're going to do with the piece that we cut off our short one. The one I said we were going to set aside for later. So we're going to put that in there. And you can do this one of two ways. So I went ahead, and the one that I made for my borders is, again, the full length with the pocket taped on the bottom. And I did it only 3 folds, because I thought that way if I had something that was wider, and I don't really know why I did 3 folds, but I just did. So this one is 3 folds, and you can do all of them as 3 folds if you want to. And the only thing about that is that you wind up having your center fold right down the middle of this here. But that doesn't matter, because I just offset the fold in this one so that the fold in the flap and the fold in the back are not in exactly the same spot. And that way that kind of keeps it so it doesn't want to fold in the center. So I'm trying to think, maybe I will do this one. I like to have variety, and since I have my sample and I also have this one, if I was going to do 3, I would take this with my fold here and that with the fold there, and I would turn it around the other way, and it would not make any difference because I cut that perfectly in the center, so it doesn't matter. You're just going to, it's going to want to fold there. But if you do it like this and you've got other stuff in there, it's not going to make a difference. But I think that I am going to fold this one in 4s like the others, so that they're all the same size, instead of this one being wider than these two. So they'll all be the same size. So now this one, because we're adding a pocket, we're going to want to add the pocket with some washi tape, some of our homemade washi tape. And let me see here. Just trying to clean things up here a little bit. Oh, there it is. Find my washi tape. Okay, so this is the washi tape that we made way early in the series. And this one is made with, masking tape. So, and we're going to use this one right now for time's sake, because we're almost at 20 minutes already. But we did buy the paper tape. I love the paper tape to make washi tape because it is see-through, whereas the masking tape is not see-through. But, so I just need to pick a color. I think I like this orange and blue one, but I also like the green one too. I think I'm going to do the orange and blue. So I'm just going to hopefully get it peeled off of this plastic bag. Now, when we made this washi tape, I'm pretty sure we did not have any parchment paper. So we made it with what we had, which was plastic Walmart bag. But parchment paper works a whole lot better as far as the release goes. You know, the masking tape will release off of the plastic baggie, but you really do have to kind of make sure that you're pulling right next to the plastic bag and the tape. You don't want to pull way far away or the bag is going to rip. And see here, it's already kind of ripping right there. But I can't get a hold of it right now. All right, so while I'm working on this, we'll go over why I've been late and kind of what's going to happen over the next few weeks. I don't know time-wise whether my videos will be up or not. Probably they will. Maybe I will even wind up doing, like, I've been asked about Market Mondays quite a bit over the summer, and I had said that I would put a kit together, which I actually did put a kit together, but I've never been able to film it. So, you know, maybe I will even get those done because I kind of have some time right now. So I told you about my hot water heater breaking and sooting my whole basement, and you know, the insurance company sent some people out here to clean it, and they took everything I have and they're cleaning it. It's I was actually very surprised and very happy that they're doing that. But you know, over the summer it's been kind of dealing with the fact that the basement was sooted and trying to figure out what to do, and because everything was, you know, you couldn't see that it was black, but the second you touched it, it got black all over you. So I just didn't know what I was going to do. And then when I went into the insurance company, I just kind of asked, because I had to go in and pay my car insurance, and I just asked, you know, is that covered? And she goes, oh, we'll put in a claim and we'll see. And they called me that same day. So they've been right on top of it, and they've really been great. So that was just one thing that was going on. And I was doing the farmer's market and trying to keep up with Artworks, which is the art studio that I belong to. But the reason that I've been off lately is because my best friend of 30 years was diagnosed with lung cancer. And she came home with hospice. And so it has been a few months of just trying to be able to spend a little time with her. And, you know, it's been really difficult because she has been my best friend for 30 years, half of my lifetime. And, you know, I quit my job, well, it's 17 years ago now, but for 15 years I took care of my parents. And she was always there for me. And, you know, once you're basically, you know, homebound, because I couldn't leave, you lose a lot of your friends. And so, you know, but she was always there for me. She always stuck by me. You know, she was the person I could call in the middle of the night. You know, she was there for me when my mom passed. She was there for me when my dad passed. And I said, I don't know what I'm going to do now because, you know, she's not there for me now that she's passed. And I really need her to be there for me. But yeah, we lost her just this week. And so I don't know exactly how my videos are going to come out. I'm just kind of all over the place. And, you know, my brain is just running 90 miles a minute. You know, I don't know exactly, you know, like what happened, but it's like, you know, all of a sudden it's like I want to, you know, like paint our bedroom and change our bedroom into a different bedroom and, you know, just, you know, clean things up. And part of that is, I think, you know, just the fact of, you know, the basement. I am a bit of a hoarder. I'm not a hoarder with garbage on the floor or anything like that, but I have a lot of stuff. And so it's one of those things where it's like you know, I don't know, my brain's just running 90 miles a minute, and I don't know exactly where I'm going. So things might be off just again, you know, for a few more weeks. Like I said, maybe there will be more. Maybe my videos will be off time. You know, maybe they'll just be right back to normal and I'll be right back on time. And, you know, because I'll be able to do that. But, you know, sorry about saying, you know. I just am having a little bit of a hard time with it right now. And you always hope. You know, there's always hope. And for her passing was a blessing as she went. You know, she went very peacefully. And that is awesome. And hospice, if you have someone that wants to be at home and you don't know what to do, Hospice was here for my father also. And they're awesome. You know, they're just really good, and they really help you all the way around, before and afterwards and everything else. So, you know, if you need someone, it is really an awesome place to go. And if you work for hospice, you're an angel, because, boy, that has to be a really hard job. But a really, really important job. And so that's just where I am right now. I am going to try and go back to market Mondays now that winter's here. I am not doing the farmer's market. You know, that's done now. And so I will have time to do it. And like I said, I have a kit that's already all together. And it's been together for a while. It's just something that I didn't have the time to do this summer, because I wanted to spend my time differently. You know, when you know you only have a certain amount of time with someone, you want to try and spend some time with them. And you still have regular life to deal with. So it put me behind a little bit. And so obviously the plastic bags are not the best way to go to put your washi tape on. Use parchment if you have it. And then if you do, just kind of, if you're careful with this and you keep getting the bag right up next to the tape, you tend to not rip it as bad. It's when you get to going and you're thinking, oh, it's going really good, and so you don't go ahead and grab it closer again, you just keep pulling, and then all of a sudden it rips. So if you try and stay right up there towards the top and grab that bag that way, it works a whole lot better. And then you don't have to pick off the little bits of plastic. And there we go. Okay. So thank you all for standing by me. Thank you all for your comments and your private messages and everything. I really, really appreciate them. And for those of you who sent me messages or sent me pictures of your projects that you're working on, I really appreciate it. Those were really great. You know, it was just great to see, and it was lovely to hear your messages. I just didn't have the time to answer them. I will go back now shortly and get on my emails and take care of those. I just haven't got a chance to do that yet. So like I said, a lot of things come to my phone, and then I read it on my phone. I just don't have a chance to get my computer out and take care of it that way. All right, so I should have left a little extra here to go around the corner. It doesn't matter because we need to do the sides also, but let's just flip this over and line it up. And then start in the middle when you do your washi tape, no matter what kind you do. Start in the middle and do it a little bit at a time. You'll get a nice tight fold over that way. If you just kind of try and go down here, a lot of times you'll have a spot that's not good and tight. And if you try to start at one end, you wind up being crooked a lot more. So that just helps if you do it that way. Now, I could have went and trimmed off these little extra bits like this before I put it on there. Excuse me. I kind of like those little extra bits on there. So I don't cut them off, but you can. So there we go. And we're just going to cut this off. And that one. And because that took me a whole lot longer than I thought it was going to, I think that we will just... You're going to put a piece of washi tape here and a piece of washi tape here. Also, on your pockets where they're maybe going to be pulled up a lot, sometimes it's good to put just a little bit of glue there and then put your washi tape on. it gives you a little bit of an extra. You're not asking the glue to do all the work, and you're not asking the washi tape to do all the work. So we'll go in here and we'll put just a little bit of glue on that edge and this edge. And then later on, I will put some washi tape on it, just because it took me so long to get that one undone that I don't want to do that again. I'm sure you don't want to watch me do that again. And I don't do the editing thing. I used to be able to, but then our internet changed and everything changed, and now I can't. I record on my phone and upload on my phone. So I'm going to make this one. If you want to make it 3, you just measure it and divide it by 3. Or, you know, you just kind of eyeball it and fold it over and then fold this one over. But I think I am going to make this one. I'm going to make this one 4 pockets, just like the others. So they're all the same size. So I'm just going to fold that one in with just a little bit of a gap. And again, I'll have to find out over time whether I keep it folded in or whether I fold it back out. Okay, now I'm going to put that up so I can see my center fold. Because when you fold them in, you have to make sure you've got that little gap before the fold, or next to the fold, however you want to say that, so that you don't have it bind in the center. And so there is a nice tall one. So with 3 folders, we used 1 folder for our tall one and a part of our short one. So that was 2 folders, and then this one is just 1 folder. So we have 1 2/3, 2 2/3, 2 2/3. That makes 3. And now we have 3 different ephemera folders, all different sizes for all different types of ephemera. And then the only thing to do with them is to decorate them. Now, I don't, what? I don't know. Let's grab a piece of parchment and make a little bit of, okay, so that one is kind of orange. So let's do one that's kind of blue. And because I want to make sure that this piece of washi tape is going to be long enough to do my folder, I'm going to make sure that this parchment is as long as, oh, okay. These are folded up. The only one that had to go all the way across the bottom is this. The other 2 only need the washi tape here and here. So we only need little short pieces of that. And so let's do a quick piece of washi tape to see what, so you can see what this looks like. This is called paper tape. It's a medical tape. So in other countries, or even, you know, somewhere where you are here, they may not call it paper tape. But it is just a paper medical tape, really easy to rip. And, all right, so I kind of save the little piece that they give you when you first open it to put that back on there, so I'm not trying to find where the start of my tape is all the time. And then before you really press it down on here, fold back the first 1/4 of an inch or so that you can just grab that to peel it off. And it peels off really easily with, I'm going to fold this back about a 1/4 of an inch. And normally when I do this, I will just line them up with just a tiny gap between them, and just a tiny gap, because then I'll stamp on top of them. So I want the stamp to go on all of them. But I'll just do the whole sheet of paper. You can do all different colors and everything, but you know, it's just nice to have them all done at one time. And so I just want to use, I'll use green for the background and blue for the foreground. So for the background, I'm just going to rub it on with a makeup sponge. had to grab one. And because this tape is see-through, I don't want to do it super dark. Acrylic paint is not really opaque, but if you, where's my little spray water? If you kind of water it down a little bit and put it on thin, it will be more opaque, kind of like a watercolor. Otherwise, watercolors work really well. If you have a little kid's watercolor kit, those work really well too. But yet, putting it on straight like that, it was definitely not see-through right there where I started. So you want to make sure that if you want your washi tape to be see-through, give it a little bit of water. And you don't really want to spray your water on your washi tape, although it does. The paper tape holds up really well. The one thing about the paper tape is it holds better than regular washi tape. And this is not washi tape because that's a name brand. This is just colored decorative tape. So there we go. And then what do we have? We just did orange, so let's do a little bit of blue on the other one. And then we'll find something to stamp it with. That's purple. Here's my blue one. I save my sponges. I rinse them off, normally in like a little bowl of water. So that I don't wash the acrylic paint down my sink. And then I put the water in some kitty litter. And that's a good thing to invest in if you don't have a cat. It's just a bowl with a lid on it with some kitty litter in it. And dump your water. And you only want to use little bits of water so that you don't have this huge amount that you're dumping in there. Dump your water in the kitty litter and let it get hard. And then you can just scoop it out and throw it in the garbage so you're not pouring acrylic paint down your sink. Because if you do a lot of painting, you're putting more paint down your sink than you think you are. And, you know, you possibly could stop it up because acrylic paint is basically like a plastic. And so you just don't want to do that. So this is our paint pad. It's a little bit damp. So maybe a little, I kind of really want that blue on the green. And what do I want on the blue? Because I don't think I want to do them opposite since my other one is yellow and red, or yellow and orange. Red and orange and blue. Ooh, we'll put orange on here. Okay. I guess we'll put yellow on here. I can't find my orange. I built a rolly cart to put all of my Build Your Stash stuff on because I have to keep it separate because I only use what we have bought for the series. And like I said, right now I might use a pair of scissors or a ruler that we did not buy for the series, but we have bought a ruler and a pair of scissors. So I may not be using the exact ones, but I'm not using anything that we don't already have. So, because the one thing about this series is I want to make it so that if you're following along from the beginning, anything that we make after that point, if you've been following the whole time, anything we make after that point, you'll have the stuff to do it. So here are some of our homemade stamps. Oh, I really like that one. Let's see, what else do we have? And the corner stamps are really pretty too. I want something that's a little bit busy. Love the circles. And those little squares are nice. Maybe we'll leave the heart out for a different color. So yeah, I think I'm going to start with the circle. So I just put a little paint on our paint pad. Our paint pad was wet and then squeezed out. just so that our paint didn't just soak right into, and I already have enough. So guess we'll just put a background on this one. There, now we already have a background on there. And then we will take some, what did I do with my spreader? Here it is. Maybe see if the yellow shows up much on the green. No. Wonder if it shows up much on the blue. Better, but not much. Just put a little more paint on there. But don't leave it too thick because you don't want it to get like all up in your stamp. And yeah, it's just, the yellow is just such a light color. It's not really going to show up very well. But it's showing up a little bit, and a lot of times background is all you need. I'm going to put some of that on here. Even though this is going to have the green tape on it. There. I like the way that looks. Okay, so maybe what other color? Maybe this reddish, this is flamenco red, which is almost like a, it's not a bright red, it's more like a brick red. And so that spot is not huge, and this is bigger than that spot. But all you have to do is just move your stamp around, just like if you had a little tiny ink pad that's not as big as your stamp. And I didn't put much on there, so this is not going to be the best, but let's see what it turns out like. Turns out good. And that's just almost the perfect size for our painty tape. Or our washi tape hack. There we go. And then we've got this one. Should we do the red on this one too? And again, it's nice and light because we don't want it to be super dark acrylic paint and cover up our see-throughness. There. And so that's how you do your own washi tape with the paper tape. And because all of this is very thin, it's pretty much dry already. So we'll just tape this one up. Let's see, put the blue and the yellow on the front. Let's do the blue washi tape with it. I was going to do the green, but changed my mind. And I really don't even need anywhere near that much. Oh, this is the one I made earlier. This is not the one that we made together, because the one we made together, we folded down our pocket. Which, if we want to do that, we have to do it now before we tape it up. And again, hopefully I will remember, because it's only going to take a second to do this, to put a little bit of glue on the end, because I think that that works really well. And it just gives you double security to keep those pockets closed. So put just a little bit of our poster tape, which is a really good tape from the Dollar Tree. Little there, a little on this end, and then the ones that are folded over, it is good to put a little bit of glue underneath it so the fold kind of stays folded down better. And when I am done with these, I will stick them in a heavy book. But I am going to just glue down that folded part. And like I said, I stick them in a nice heavy book and let them really dry. Nice and solid. So that when you use them, because, you know, you want your construction things, your storage things, you want that construction to be nice and solid. Because you want to use it for a really long time. Now, if you wanted to, you could have put a little bit of glue on each fold before when you did the ends. I don't know why I don't like to do that, but I don't like to do that. So I don't do that. Maybe it's because it's an extra step, but, you know, for some reason I have done it before, but I prefer to just leave it open. I have at times had something that was wider that I folded in the middle and stuck it in where the fold was so that when I shut it, it just folded over, but it still kept it in there nicely. Maybe that's why I do it. I really don't know. So there we go. Now that's all nice and done. And so we take a little bit of our washi tape, which doesn't have to be too much. And we just put on there. Now you don't want to go over the pocket. You want to just start where the pocket starts. But if you do go over the pocket and if it sticks out too far, because you do have some glue under there, you can always just go in and snip it right there and just leave that piece up there. That looks kind of nice too. You could even go the whole length if you wanted to. And then just snip it right there so that you can use the pocket. But see, doesn't that washi tape look cool? I really like the looks of it. And like I said, so I like it better than the masking tape, but the masking tape works good too. And if you want to make your own tape, and all you have is masking tape, make it with that. Whenever you see someone do something, you don't have to go out and buy what they have. See if you've got something that you can replace it with, because a whole lot of the time you really do. And if there's something that you really want to try and you don't have it and it's an expensive product at the store, let me know, because I will see if I can figure out a way to make a replica for you, a hack or whatever they call that, so that you can do the same thing as other people are doing, but with a lot less expense. So far, we've made a lot of different things in the first series, in this series, and the only thing that I could not do was I could not make a scoreboard. That is the only thing that, and technically I kind of did, but, you know, it was one of those things where it was worth buying. So there we go. There is one of them. And this one we would do the same way. But so that is how you can make your own of all different sizes. And we're not going to really even have time to, decorate them all, because I have run out of time trying to get that masking tape undone. But I did, and it worked. So, you know, that's the thing. Just be patient and relax and take your time. Like, sometimes I'm always in a hurry, but really, you know, crafting is all about being busy, occupying your mind, getting things, you know, doing things. So what does it matter if it takes you 20 minutes to peel a piece of tape or 2 minutes to peel a piece of tape? You're still doing something and it's occupying you. So, but there we go, 3 different sizes. And I will just decorate these up to use them for the different bits that we have, because they, you know, they work really well for, you know, different things, you know, that we have made. You know, even our butterflies, which have a little bit of dimension to them, you can, and see, that's another thing. If that's why I don't do this, because if you get things down in there that get lost, and it's glued right here, it's hard to really get down in there. If it's not glued right here, you can lift that back and you can see everything that's down in there. Any little bit that might have been so short that it got lost underneath the edge of the pocket. Because I don't want to put little thumb tabs here, because I want this to be nice and straight and sturdy. So, and besides that, if I put a thumb tab here, you know, like a little loop, and I have an inchie stuck over here, that's still not going to get it. So on these, I don't, like I do that on a lot of things, but I don't like to do it on these pockets. But see, these inchies may be a little too small to put in there. But the other thing that you can do with those, which is why what you can do with one of these strips is you can take this strip and you can put it on, let's say, 2 of these, or you could do all 4 and just cut it straight, glue it at each end, put a little piece of washi on it, and then your inchies, by the time you have your glue across the bottom, your inchies will stick up, or your postage stamps, or any of your little tiny bits. So you make a nice little tiny pocket to go across here. Glue it and washi tape it here, glue it and washi tape it here, and you've got a nice little short, which I would not leave that on there because that would defeat the purpose of having a nice short pocket. But there we go. Just put that in there like that. So thank you very much for stopping by. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. I'm trying to get back to everything just plain old normal, and normally I don't say things about what's going on in my life like that because, you know, this is supposed to be a place to just come and relax. But I had so many questions, I thought that I would let you know what's going on, because I'm still not sure how long it's going to take me to get totally back to normal. So, but thank you very much for stopping by. I really do appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope that you all have an outstanding day. Bye-bye.